look at doing some basic descriptive statistics on our QDA for French fries. Now let's ask the question, is treatment 1 different than treatment 2? Let's remind ourselves. Treatment 1, we were taking a potato, running it through the cutter and dropping it straight to the fryer for about 4 minutes at 365 Fahrenheit. We didn't rinse it. And treatment 2, we actually did a rinse before and pat dry before going to the deep fryer. And so let's see from a color perspective if these two are statistically different from each other. We can just look at these means and go, oh yeah, of course, these means are different. Then of course they're different. Well, you know what? It doesn't quite work that way because the data needs to be evaluated both from a perspective of how the mean is sitting, but also how skewed that data is. Is it spread all over the place? We know up here we've got some numbers like the 10 here that make the data spread out pretty wide. And the standard deviation down here is also reasonably big as compared to the one over here. How do we do this? Well, again, we're going to go into our data analysis tool. So up here we have the data tab and we're going over to data analysis. Again, I'm working on a Microsoft platform, and so I'm not exactly sure if this works the same in Apple, but this is how it works on a Microsoft platform. So in my data analysis tools, I'm using what's called a t-test, and this is one where there are a few different t-tests. Now, a paired sample supposes that we have two exact same samples and one measurement that's been taken at 2 different times. That's not what we're after here. This is where we have to make a decision. Do we have equal variances or unequal variances? And just on a qualitative basis, we're going to use the unequal variances tool because these are greater than 100% difference in our variances at this point. So we're going to click it. This is just for 2 samples. So I'm going to pick my range. Just to note here, if I click on this box, it implies that I'm going to put the number 1 up here and have the label included in my data set. So I'm going to click up here and go down and cover the data. Now this is one where it's sneaky because I should have had everybody do this test and not allow people to default out. You have to have the same number of tests to be able to get this to work properly. I'm going to put an output range here. And I'm not going to put in a hypothesized mean difference. And let's see what comes out. Okay. This is where it gets interesting. So we have 10 observations. Our means and our variances are there. Variance is not exactly the same as a standard deviation. I'm not a stats teacher. I'm giving you some basic applications of stats. But what I do want to note is these values down here. And I'm going to make a second video to just walk you through those specific pieces of data. We'll see you in a moment on video number 2.